roundtable about MA 250. As you know, these conversations are key for us. We've been doing this in the last 3 years to ensure that we are connecting with multicultural ethnic media. It's like so important for us at the governor's office, but also across all of our agencies, and that's why we're here today. We have the executive director of Travel and Tourism Talks, as well as members of the MA 250 Coalition, Nicole Owie, Wes Deshano, Shad Smith, Alex Meadow, Amanda McKeown, and they're all working very hard in preparing like events, programming, educational initiatives, and regional partnerships. And I think it's so exciting that we are in Massachusetts, where like all of these countries started, and we get to celebrate it, to be in like specific sites. So I think it's exciting that we are also trying really hard to ensure that all of the communities are part of this MA 250, because we obviously recognize that all of the communities that exist in Massachusetts also have been able to contribute to the state. So before starting, I would like to remind you that you guys have a one-pager with a lot of information, as well as Abby's email. She's the communications director for the Office of Travel and Tourism, and she will be of great help for you guys, and she's amazing. And also we have another event after this, so like we will need to finish around like maybe 5 minutes before 1, and just like I just need you to execute on
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate everybody being here at the State House with us today. It's very meaningful for us to gather with you in this space and have this briefing. We've been working on Massachusetts 250, the MA 250 campaign, since I joined the Office of Travel and Tourism in June of 2023, and launched the first phase of the campaign in September of 24. The second phase of the campaign in December of 25, and now we are cruising towards an amazing crescendo with the Boston Pops Spectacular on July 4th. But while that is the crescendo and the culminating event in many ways, there are programs and activities going on throughout 2026 around Massachusetts 250. So when we talk about Massachusetts 250, it's about more than a historical milestone. It is the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution, but it's also our opportunity to reflect on who we are as a state today and how the ideas born here continue to shape our communities, our culture, and our future. Massachusetts is where the revolution began, but it is also where our communities continue to evolve. And that belief is at the heart of our campaign. From the beginning, the goal of Massachusetts 250 has been to make this a truly statewide and inclusive effort. It's not a single city story or a single moment in time, although there is certainly a lot of programming in Boston. It belongs to every region, every community, and every person who calls Massachusetts home. And that is why statewide engagement has guided everything that we have done. And I'm so appreciative that Nicole and Wes are here to talk about the statewide engagement initiatives that the 250 Executive Committee has been undergoing. I want to call out the grants that we have done, and I have sincere thanks for 2 of our partners who are here today. Amanda McMullen, President and CEO of New Bedford Whaling Museum, is here, and she and her team are doing exciting work through the Massachusetts 250 grant, when on the exhibit, When New Bedford Lit the World, Revolutionary Innovation and Culture in a Port City. The project brings to life the extraordinary role New Bedford played in shaping industry ideas and global connections, and Amanda is here to answer questions about those efforts. I also want to recognize Wes Deshano from Mass Humanities, who is leading another important MA 250 supported initiative, Museum on Main Street, Voices and Votes, Democracy in America. Through the traveling exhibition, Mass Humanities is engaging communities across the state in conversations about civic life, participation, and the ongoing story of American democracy. Wes and his colleagues are helping connect history to the present day in ways that are accessible, thoughtful, and deeply relevant. Over the past 2 years, the state has awarded $3.5 million in MA250 grants to 96 organizations across Massachusetts. The grants are supporting exhibitions, performances, reenactments, marketing campaigns, digital storytelling, and community-based programming in every corner of the state. These grants are showing us all a richer and more complete picture of the revolution, and institutions are elevating Black and Indigenous voices, immigrant stories, and the experiences of women, working people, artists, and communities whose contributions have often been overlooked. The anniversary is not about narrowing the story, it is about expanding it. And the work being done by Amanda, Wes, and so many partners across the state underscore how important this effort is and ensures that Massachusetts 250 is something everyone can experience and be a part of. Massachusetts 250 is designed as a series of moments over time. It's not a single day. Last year, we marked the 250th anniversary of Patriots' Day, including commemorations in Lexington and Concord, and the Battle of Bunker Hill reenactments. There were 2, one in Charlestown and one in Gloucester. Those events captured national attention and reminded people across the country where the story began. This winter, we've joined Knox 250 Trail of Artillery, recreating the journey that helped turn the tide of the revolution. And when we say we've reached all corners of Massachusetts, we started with the Knox Trail in Alford, which you have to go into New York to get to. So we have, Knox Trail is coming all across the state, retracing the steps that Henry Knox took with his people to bring the artillery from Fort Ticonderoga in New York to Dorchester Heights. This past Sunday, the trail passed through Framingham, and next week it will continue in Cambridge and then Roxbury, physically moving through the communities and connecting people to the history in real time. We have even more powerful local commemorations on the horizon, including Evacuation Day 250, celebrations in Dorchester, highlighting the role of Boston's neighborhoods in shaping the revolutionary story, as well as future milestones like Patriots' Day 251, Bunker Hill Day 251, and the Battle of Gloucester commemoration, which ensures the history continues to be explored across regions and generations. All of this is building towards a remarkable summer for the state. On July 4th, Massachusetts will host a free, expanded, and reimagined Independence Day celebration with the Boston Symphony Orchestra. And I want to offer special thanks to Chad Smith and the entire BSO team for their extraordinary partnership and commitment to this effort. Their leadership, creativity, and dedication are helping to shape a celebration that will be bigger than ever, open to the public and designed to bring people together around a shared history and shared values. That celebration will take place during a summer of global attention for Massachusetts, including FIFA World Cup matches and Sail 250. Together, these moments remind us that Massachusetts has always been globally connected and that our history continues to resonate around the world. All of these events and stories are being supported by a creative statewide marketing campaign designed to help people discover, engage with, and feel connected to Massachusetts 250. From the start of the campaign, we have been intentional about including multicultural media in the marketing mix, because telling a fuller, more representative story requires reaching people through trusted voices and outlets in their communities. As the campaign continues, our focus is on growing those partnerships and expanding the range of outlets, languages, and communities we reach across the state. We are actively looking to learn from you about the work that you do and what resonates with your audiences and how we can work together more effectively, not only through paid opportunities, but through editorial and earned storytelling as well. Those editorial partnerships are just as important to make sure everyone feels part of this celebration. We encourage the outlets here today to share media kits, story ideas, and perspectives with us. I'm going to point to Abby Phillips and Sheila Green on our team, and Zoe Sala, who will be helping to take all of your information. This campaign is strongest when it's shaped collaboratively, and we are excited to keep building it together. Finally, the work is guided by an extraordinary group of partners. I want to thank Bob Rivers for his leadership of the executive committee, as well as Nicole Obi, who's president and CEO of BECMA, Brian Boyles, executive director of Mass Humanities, for their leadership on the Statewide Engagement Committee. Their dedication has helped ensure that this anniversary reaches every region and reflects the full diversity of Massachusetts. At its core, Massachusetts 250 is an invitation to learn, to reflect, to explore, and to participate. It is an invitation for residents and visitors alike to experience Massachusetts as a place where history happened and ideas continue to be challenged, shared, and reimagined. We're very grateful for all of our media partners for helping us to tell this story and about how this anniversary is understood and how it's remembered depends on how it's shared. We are excited to continue working with all of you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Nicole Obi. I am the President and CEO of the Black Economic Council of Mass, or BECMA. I have the privilege of serving as co-chair for the statewide engagement for MA250. We work closely with Mass Humanities. Wes is representing their CEO, Brian Boyles. Our goal for this subcommittee is to ensure that we have an ability to engage communities outside of the July 4th celebration that the BSO is leading. Our committee came up with a set of criteria for engaging broader communities. That criteria included events that represented Black, Asian, Latino, LGBTQ, and Indigenous communities across the Commonwealth. We also focused, so these are organizations that are led by, and the celebrations are keenly focused on those communities. We also looked at recurring events that have a track record of having at least 5,000 attendees. And so we've been able to come up with 10 events, not that there aren't more events going on, but 10 events that would be receiving sponsorship support from Eastern Bank Foundation and perhaps other sponsors. And those 10 events, the sponsorship would be to, one, amplify the MA250 message at these events, but also just help them with production and execution of events, especially in a year where we're hoping to see more people engaged and wanting to be part of the MA250 celebration. So Eastern Bank Foundation has committed a total of $1 million towards these events, as well as storytelling, which Mass Humanities will share a bit about more. And we'll be sharing those names of those selected events after the Eastern Bank Foundation board has approved the final list. But they have from every corner of the Commonwealth and from those various groups. The recommended list had over 200,000 attendees across those 10 events, and so we're really excited about having MA250 be a part of these celebrations. Those events are going to occur between May and November of 2025. So, 2026, sorry, that would have been something. So more to come. We're just really waiting for final word from the Eastern Bank Foundation as the primary sponsor of those events. And I'll turn it over to Wes and Mass Humanities to talk about storytelling around that Eastern Bank Foundation specific funding.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Wes DeShano. I'm the communications manager at Mass Humanities. If you haven't heard of us, just really quick, we're the state affiliate of the National Endowment for the Humanities. So basically our mission is to help people transform their lives in Massachusetts using things like storytelling and history. And we have like a great docket of programs that we're both putting on in collaboration with Mass 250 and also that we're supporting in the form of grant making. So our big headliner is Promises of the Revolution grants. We give out 34 grants to nonprofits all across Massachusetts, and we ask them to kind of delve into this question. What are the promises that are in the Declaration of Independence, and how do they get experienced by folks? of different identity groups. And we have a variety of like documentary films that are being produced this year and screened, community events, oral histories that, community elders and youth are getting involved in, walking tours, the list goes on and on and on. Almost 90% of these projects are led by people of color, and 60% of them are outside of the Boston metro area. So we're really like going from coast to from the Berkshires to Cape Cod. If you want to kind of like know a little bit more about this, I'd encourage you to go to our website, masshumanities.org. We are going to be doing a special once per month newsletter called The People's Guide to the Revolution. And we're going to be highlighting all these events taking place and rolling out original videos, essays, reflections, to kind of keep the conversation going. We also have a partnership with Mass 250 to do some short films that are going to be taking a closer look at a couple of these Promises of the Revolution projects. And we're going to be screening them at different events throughout the year, broadcasting them. And we're covering everything from a group of teens in Jamaica Plain that are going to be publishing a zine with original reflections on those promises that I referenced, to a podcast project about LGBTQ+ leaders from the 19th century, actually the 18th century, to the present day, which we're just excited to have the support to make those stories and amplify them. Last but not least, you might have seen this past year our Reading Frederick Douglass program. It's really taken off since it was founded in 2009. Essentially what we do is we give little grants to communities to come together. They read the speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July, and then they have a community discussion about how those thoughts that Frederick Douglass had in 1852 are still impacting our world today. We had 71 readings last year, and we hope that we have just as many, if not more, this year. Again, you can kind of get all the info on our website and come by, hear what local residents in the community have to say about this very important topic of racial equity. I'll stop there, but please meet me afterward, and I'd love to answer any questions you have. Next is Chad.
Hi everyone, my name is Chad Smith. I'm the president and CEO of the Boston Symphony. And the Boston Symphony also runs the Boston Pops Orchestra. And our contribution to the MA250 event, we are delighted and really honored to support the work of the MA250 celebrations and to partner with the governor and the team to really reimagine our July 4th event on the Esplanade as a signature event of the MA250 celebrations. For those of you who have perhaps not been to the Esplanade for this event, the Boston Symphony and the Boston Pops started giving free concerts on the Esplanade starting in 1929. And each year, hundreds of thousands of people come to the Esplanade from across the city, across the region, indeed across New England for these free concerts. About 50 years ago, in 1974, a businessman here in Boston amped it up, and it became the Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular. It was the first July 4th celebration to incorporate fireworks and music, if you can believe that. I think they made the unfortunate choice of choosing Tchaikovsky, the Russian composer. So we're going to change that this summer to have a more American celebration. And by that, a much more inclusive and representative way of telling the stories of Massachusetts in 2026 and the communities that make up Massachusetts. But it's going to be a very exciting time. It is going to be. I will share with you. We have lots of things that we are trying to do in this. First is how do we honor this moment, and how do we honor this moment where we are a country that is speaking across differences. How do we bring what we imagine will be somewhere between 500,000 and 750,000 people from across Massachusetts, Boston, and indeed New England to the Esplanade for this free concert. It is one of the, if not the biggest, July 4th concerts in this country. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, but one of the things that we're really excited about is that CNN is partnering with the Boston Pops and MA250 this year to broadcast our July 4th event. And that allows us the opportunity to tell our stories to not just local and regional audiences, but indeed to the entire world. We will be featured across the primetime hours on CNN, both international and national. There'll be a complete broadcast of the entire event. And it's going to be a 3-hour event where anchored by the Boston Pops, conducted by Keith Lockhart. But really, it's a celebration of service. It's a celebration of how we as communities come together and honor the service of those who have really made so many contributions. And the first way that we will celebrate that is by honoring those military, active service military and veterans who have given the ultimate sacrifice by welcoming veterans and the military into a place of pride of place within the concert. But we're also going to be inviting just some of the most extraordinary artists to come and headline this event. These are artists that you might have heard of. But it will be a number of headliners across a number of genres. Again, our work here is to tell a broadly reflective story of music in America and in the Americas now. So you will see a number of artists. Again, as Nicole shared, we're looking across a number of different diverse perspectives, so both racial and ethnic, but LGBTQ, age diversity, genre diversity, and we're going to be able to tell those stories in partnership also with the Mass Humanities. The CNN is a big thing this year, obviously the top-tier talent that we're going to be using, but we also know that Massachusetts has turned out some pretty important people who have made it to the big screen. So welcoming back local celebrities to act as hosts across the evening. And again, many of these names we all know. And then finally, we think that we're leaning into this notion that the governor has been talking about so much, that revolutions start here. It's not just about telling the story of 1775 and 1776, but how do we honor within this program the innovation and revolutionary nature of industry, of our commercial work, of our entertainment and cultural communities. So there'll be lots of really interesting ways that we're thinking about robotics and drones and a drone ballet in the sky. And I will guarantee you it will be a fireworks show that you have never seen in Boston before. So lots of different ways that we are trying to ensure that we are meeting this moment in 2026. It's not just any July 4th, and it's not just any time in our country's history.
And we have Alex from the City of Boston.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. My name is Alex Meadow, Deputy Director of Partnerships for Mayor Wu at the City of Boston, and helping to lead the... We can go outside and see like 10 of these plaques on the walls that say Paul Revere lived here or whatever it is. They are vastly disproportionately about white men from the 18th century. And so we see this as an opportunity to mark things that are in the neighborhoods that are about more, there will be some white men from the 18th century too, but a more layered telling of Boston's multicultural history and still around this theme of revolutionary. And so we have partnered with a group called the Everyone 250 Coalition, 100 arts and culture organizations led by Embrace Boston, to place 20 new markers in the next 6 months. We are also leaning on our Commemorations Commission, which represents 30 other organizations. So there will be 35 new markers in Boston by July that tell these layered stories, and we are going to have an online map, an app that sort of tells them with audio, with video, translation, so that folks who, for tourists or residents where English is not their first language, will be able to access the stories, even if they're not standing there right in front of the marker. So we're thrilled and excited about that. 2 is signature events. In addition to what was mentioned, we're really going to lean in on the Henry Knox event in Roxbury, which will be on March 7th. It's a Saturday. So we're partnering, the state has already partnered with the Henry Knox Trail We will be partnering to sort of Boston and Roxbury-ify that stop on the trail. So you can imagine some horses and some cannons, but also a local drum line and some local speakers that contextualize for Roxbury what it meant 250 years ago, what it means today. And then we also are going to have sort of our own advertising and video series that I think the way we think about this is like there will be millions of people here in Boston for tall ships, for World Cup matches, but they're only doing, they go see a soccer match. What will they do after? What will they do before? What will encourage them to stay a little bit longer in the city? What will encourage them to leave Faneuil Hall and their lobster roll and head out to the neighborhoods and see something new and, experience a new cuisine and spend some money in our neighborhoods? And so our campaign will try to sort of capture those people, send them to Tour 250, get them out to the neighborhoods and to our events and to MA 250's events, and just sort of tie all these things together. So that's what we're focused on. Appreciate MA 250 and all of you for being here.
Thank you, Alex. And before opening it up to questions, I wanted to pass it to Amanda.
Thank you, Valentina. Amanda McMullen, President and CEO of the New Bedford Whaling Museum. And we love our colleagues in Boston, but don't forget about the South Coast of Massachusetts, because we've got some revolutionary people and things going on as well. Thanks very much to Mott and to the committee for making sure that it was the full Commonwealth story. We really applaud you for that. We do have a number of exhibits. We've got a new one that just opened up called Forging Independence, Building a Nation, really highlighting some of the, what were the activities going on in the 1700s in New Bedford and the South Coast region. A fan favorite has become one of the farm doors that's been shot up by bullets, so you have to come down and check that out. New Bedford is just a very interesting community and town, very significant within the Portuguese diaspora, certainly through whaling in the late 1700s and throughout the 1800s. A number of people migrated to New Bedford because of whaling, from particularly Cabo Verde, the Azores, mainland Portugal, and Brazil. And so that's definitely a part of our story, a really significant portion. We have a couple of neat events coming up as well, celebrating both the World Cup. Our Portuguese Advisory Committee will be hosting a conversation and panelists with among football players from Cabo Verde, the Azores, Portugal, and we're working on Brazil. So if anyone wants to help me with that one, we need a speaker. Thank you. I'll take you up on that. And then the tall ships as well. The Sawgrash will be in port, obviously, in Boston for the tall ships, but we'll also be making a stop in New Bedford, and we're working on a program for that as well. So lots of exciting things happening as well down in New Bedford.
Pick one.
You'll share this one, right?
All good? Okay. One more.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I saw you. But I didn't know. Did you share the file? We were just trying to.
Retirez. Laisse retirer. Regarde,